Hey folks, welcome to the stream. It's a Sunday night. We are waiting on a new character. So, we're going to just tidy things up, do some stuff, and if any of you guys have got anything you want to see done, let me know, and we shall basically do something about it. Okay? So, without further ado, I am going to copy our move character to use point and switch the camera. I'm going to make it a bit better for you guys to see this. So I'm going to do my little trick which makes everything a bit bigger, and that should be working for you guys now. So basically we're going to make sure that this is the same for both the SK version and the interactable static version, and you can see here that we don't have our input, so it's going to be low position, and that's going to go straight in there, and we're going to grab that, we're going to grab that, we're going to save that, and then for our normal, for example, bed, right, we're going to have to do our bed thing. So under use item for bed, we actually don't need to do that because we're actually doing the thing anyway, right? So we are pretty much okay as far as that goes. Okay, so that should still work because we're taking control of the animation anyway. So we are good with that. Okay, so now that that is done, we're going to do a save all, and then we're going to have a look again. So as you can see, we're okay there. And that's fine. We can drop down and do our brazier thing. Okay. And our open close thing should still be fine, which it is. I believe we've moved our bed. That's fine. Okay. Oh. So, right, okay. So when we do the bed, thing, right, we're going to disable input. Okay. And yeah, that seems to have happened. We can drag that along a bit. And we'll do that. We can disable that. Get player controller. Then we get a reference character. Right. And we'll do the same thing. We'll duplicate them. And basically, when you come out of sleeping, we're going to switch this back on. Okay, so we are going to say enable input. Okay, and that fixes so that the player can't move the character around when she's basically sleeping, because it kind of doesn't make any sense otherwise. Okie doke, there we go. Save that. And as I said, we're waiting on some new character models and skeletons. So I'm basically just going to code around the edges, do a few little things, and take it from there. Okay. Now, what else do we want to work on? Well, I had an idea actually for it's basically going to be like an inventory thing. It's actually going to be like an inventory slot, right? So I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to call it gained item. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it in our widgets. Okay, and we'll put it in interaction. Now, the idea for this is we're going to get an item, right? And it's going to be passed in. And it's going to be of this struct inventory item, okay? Now, we're going to do this and test it on our dead animal. Okay, so it is an interactable items. So we're going to do this. And we're going to do that. Open this up. Okay. Now we're going to get this. This is the item data here. Okay. So basically what we're going to do right is we're going to create a widget, and it's going to be gained item. Okay. And we're probably not going to need a reference parent for this. But we shall see. And now we are going to go and have a look at it. Right? And see what it actually does. Right, so we're not going to do this. Okay. And our button item Alright, we're not going to do that. In fact, it's just basically not going to have a button clicked, so all of this can basically go, right? But what we're going to do with this is oh, that's an interesting one. And strangely, right, so what we're going to do is we're going to test it out. Okay. And probably the goat isn't the best way to do this. And it doesn't actually matter if, well, maybe it does. Okay, so that's all good. Right, and we better not forget to do add to viewport. Okay. Right. So we shall save that. We'll go back here. Button item. image. Okay. Right. Okay, I get the idea here. And we might not need the dynamic material for this. Right, but we'll go for it anyway. And we have got our quantity. But that's not quite right either. Right, so what we're going to need here is another variable. Right, that's the wrong thing. So we're going to add a variable, and it's going to be quantity, and it's going to be an integer. And this is not going to be that. This is actually going to be this number here. Right, so we shall gradually build this out. So we'll save that. Okay, we'll leave that as is. Okay, this can go. That can go. And that can go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a custom event. And we're going to wait. We're just going to say destroy self. Okay, and we'll say delay. And we're going to delay for 5 seconds. And we're not going to do that. I'm going to copy that. Then call that function. And we're going to save that. We're going to go to our designer. We're going to create an animation. We're going to call it, let's call it disappear. Okay. And click on that, then click on the timeline. We'll add a track. And we'll call it this. We'll add another track. We'll say render opacity. Okay. We'll move it to 2 seconds. Then we'll add it. Then we'll click on that one and we'll put 0. And then we'll save it. Okay. Then we'll wrap it with a canvas panel, and then our border is going to be at the bottom, and we're going to say 0.5 and 1. Except it's not going to be 1. So what we'll do is we'll say 0.5. And we'll say minus 100. Right. Where did that go? Right, okay. We're going to size the content. Okay. And if we get the code now, we're going to play animation. And it should be, wait a minute. And it's called disappear. So we get disappear. We do that. Okay, and then we delay again for 2 seconds. I'm just wondering if this has got time. Or if it's got length. Apparently not. Duration? Apparently not. Okay, whatever. Right, so at the end of this we'll just remove from parent. and self. Okay. Now we could do this a few different ways, but I'm just playing with it first to start with. So if we now go into our dead goat, right? So what we do is we get length, and that goes in. Well, what we'll do is we'll add a reroute node there, and we're going to have to go back to our gained, then enter quantity, instance editable, and expose on spawn. Save that. We probably want to kill the parent, so we can delete that, and it ain't going to make any difference because we're not using it anymore. Right, so this, we can refresh the nodes. We do want the item. Damn. Right. That's fine. And so this is an item data, but we need this. Okay. So in in here, we're just going to get a copy of the first item as a test, right? And then we'll take it from there. Okay. We've done that stuff again. Right, now we do actually need to return an item here, so get data, get data, it's data, not date. Let's get data table row. Okay, to string, and that's going to go in there. I wonder if we can go to name. Nope. Right, whatever. And it's going to be interactable items. And And that is not a good sign. Ah, okay. So that's interactable items, right? Right, and that's no good to us for our gained item. Okay. So this struct item here is not going to be that, it's going to be interactable. It's going to be struct interactable, so work on that. So it's struct interactable item. It's not going to particularly like this a lot, but we'll work on it. Right. So all we do is we remove that and we plug that in there. Okay. And we compile that. We go back to our dead goat. We refresh the nodes on that. And then this goes in here. And that should be us. Ah, okay, wait a minute. This goes here. This goes here. Save that. And we should be ready to test. So, there's our goat. We shot it. Okay, it's fallen over. We can skin it. And there we go. Pretty cool, huh? We'll do that again. And that's quite handy that it's walked right over to us. Not quite so handy it's right at the bow. Okay. So we can add like a sound effect to that or whatever. Right, and we can split that up into a function that basically says, have we got an item, go and do the whole load of items thing. Okay, so that's another thing working. Right. As I said, I'm kind of tippy-toeing around the edges here because I'm probably going to end up with a bit of work to do once we get the new character in. I'm going to have to like retarget animations and do a lot of the reset up work for that, so I don't want to go too far into something and end up halfway done and then have to basically fix a load of stuff because you tend to forget where you are, what you were doing, and then it ends up a big fat mess, right? But we're going to do something better with this as well. We'll see what we can do with it. Because right, okay. Items given. Items given quantity. Right, okay, so this should actually be not this one. This should be a copy as well. Right, and that should actually go in there. And that should be that. So we'll basically move this along a bit and then try it again. And we know it should be 3. Okay. So we shall check that is the case. And we'll go and get her. And we can actually run. Okay, but we don't want our right. The problem there was she was doing an action, right, while while a montage was playing. Right now, while any montage is playing, we don't really want our animation blueprint to be mixing hands and stuff, right? So basically what we want to do here is we want to go into our animation blueprint for our pawn, right? We want to do that a bit. Right, we're going to grab these, pull them down a bit, put it back, and go straight into there, then we'll straight into there. Okay. And this isn't the one we're actually going to make a difference with, it's going to be this one over here, right? So in our animation blueprint, we're going to add a variable, and we're going to say playing montage, okay? And we're going to say get, then we're going to say not, okay, and then we're going to add a pin to that. Now we might end up actually writing this as a function just to tidy it up, because if we end up with any other things in here, it's going to end up a mess, right? But if basically what we're saying here is, if we're playing a montage, we don't want our wind affecting the montage that's playing, okay? Right, so this is the part where she puts her hand up to block the wind, okay? So what I'm saying from that point of view is basically, if she is doing an action, we don't want her to do that while she's like skinning or something else, right? Because then it begins to look a bit absurd, okay? So we'll save that. And I'm just wondering if we can do this in reverse. If we can check this, then we do that other stuff. Right? And I think we can. Interesting. Okay guys, if you're enjoying the stream so far, hit the like and subscribe. I'm going to go and grab a cigarette. I'll be back in 2 minutes, so check out the description for links to my Discord and Patreon, where you can support the channel and the game, and also my previous game on Steam. I shall be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Okay guys, we are back. And right, we can categorize these. Right, so what we'll do is we'll categorize these. Right, and we'll put these in conditions. Okay. And we shall categorize this as pawn. Right. And that gives us a bit more tidiness. So now basically what we've got to do is when we're playing a montage, we're going to tell it we're playing a montage. Okay? So that it doesn't affect our thing. So what we're going to do is play use montage. And we're going to get our reference character again. Okay. And let's have a look at this actually. If we go back and see where it says play montage, this is going to be in more right, inspect, pick up, use. Right, so it's actually going to be in the goat here. Okay. And in fact, it's going to go in both of these. Yeah. Okay, so what we do here is we get the ref character, then we grab the anim instance, right, and then we set playing montage equals true. Okay. And we gonna have to write interesting. We've got a problem here that what we need to do is we need to tell it that we're playing a montage. Okay? But yeah, we're fine with that, right? Okay, so I'm going to undo that delete. Oops. Right, we'll grab all this again. So if there's a montage, we play the montage. Right, now what we do is we duplicate this and we might be best actually putting this into our player controller. Okay, because we want it to fire off but use a delay. But if we go down this track, we still want the play length, but we want to actually, right, okay, right. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave that there. We're going to save that. Okay. Then we're going to go into our pawn. Okay. And we're going to do this as not actions, but we're going to do it in here, right? And we'd actually be better doing it as a function. So we're going to say function and we're going to say set playing montage. Okay, and we're going to say is playing then we're going to say has I can't do this in here. I'm going to have to do it as a custom event. Okay, I'm going to compile that because we're doing the delay I can't do it in a function, okay, but that's fine. So we'll do it as a custom event, custom event right, set playing montage. And we're going to say is playing, then we're going to say has delay, and then we're going to say delay length, and that is going to be a float. Okay, then we're going to say we're going to branch on that. Right, and all of these are going to have a delay. Right, so in actual fact, what we'll be doing is just getting our animation instance, right, and we're going to say set playing montage, right, and that's going to be true. Then we're going to branch off our has delay, okay, and that actually doesn't matter either. We don't actually need to know whether it has a delay or not when I think about it, right, because they're all going to have a delay. So that's going to be like that. And then what we're going to do is delay for that amount of time. Okay. And then we're going to set this to false again. Okay. So we set that to false again. And now if we go into the goat, right, we can go to here. Now if this is not valid, we don't do this, but we do that. Right? So what we can do is we say ref char, and then we set playing montage. Okay. We get play length. Okay. We drag this over a bit. I went a bit overboard, but never mind. We do that. We drag this down into here. And then we do that. And then basically we can remove that and that. And we can drag this down. Right? We can select all this again. We can drag it over. Then we can do that. We can drag that into there. Right? So that we're only getting this once. Again, rather than all of those other times. Then we can move this into a nicer position as well. And that should be us. Okay. We can drag this over this way a bit. We can tidy this up later. But what I think we're going to do here is this is going to become a bit of code that we call when we gain items, right? So this is basically going to get split up. So if we look at our data, right, we can look at this items given, and if it's greater than 0, then basically we can then do a function. Okay, we can probably do it in a helper function, which wouldn't be a bad idea. Okay, and this could do all of this stuff. At least I think it could. Right, so let's have a look. I need to move some of these. Once I get the new mannequin and stuff, I can then start doing the helper functions. Where are the helper functions is the question, and actually I believe they're in here, this under this other. Like in here. I'll need to have a look for it. I've completely forgotten where the heck it is. It might be in here. Not in here. I'm looking for a function library that I've created for this. Okay, so it's not anywhere there, and it's not anywhere else there. So I'm thinking to myself, right, there's BFL Groenland, right, which is main menu game mode. Okay, but I'm just wondering where this where that actually is. In fact, if I do that, BFL, right, here it's here. If I browse to it, right, it's in main menu. So fundamentally, it's fine, but what I'm better doing here is creating a new folder and calling it function libraries, and then what I'll do is rename it to not function. right? The rename function libraries. Okay. Blueprint class. And actually, if we come in here, blueprint function library. Okay, so we call it BFL. We'll call it main functions. Okay. And we're going to have to work out what we're going to pass into it and stuff when we write a function here. But whatever. And in fact, what we'll do is we'll rename this. And we'll call it in-game functions. Okay. And we really need to test this now. So we're going to press play. And the easiest way to test this right? Okay. So, the interesting thing here is what I'm going to have to do is actually go into the main map, right? Because I'm not sure if the level designer is designing the levels, and if you go into a house, it's going to stop the effects of the weather. So I'm going to have to load it and try it to find out what actually happens when you go inside, if you still react to the weather or not, because you shouldn't. Okay. And I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay. And for some reason, my my code isn't working again. Well, this ain't great. Okay. So am I going to have to load up the individual? I know which one it is. It's Greenland X30. It's this one here I need to actually start with. Now if you load this one, what's going on here? Now it is a long time since I loaded this up. I don't know why it's not working now. And I don't know why it's not showing me it in the editor either. So what's going on? Player start. There isn't a player start. So what's going on? And why can't I see anything? I guess. Right. I don't know why that's like that. I don't know whether my level designery guy has taken the player start out for some reason. I'm guessing it's because he's moving the player start around. I can only guess, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so do I need to rebuild the line or something here? I mean, there's some weird stuff going on. There is some definite weird stuff going on. Right, build. Build light only. Let's see how long this is going to take. Apparently no time at all because it's just crashed. Well, that's good. And these are the joys of working with somebody else on Unreal Engine. And you try to test something and suddenly everything doesn't work. And there's stuff there that shouldn't be there and there's stuff there that isn't there. And it's a bit... It's a bit of an... Yeah, I think that my colleague has been moving the player start around in our test to try and test things to see how things are going, and he didn't realise that basically I can't do anything. If he is working on that stuff and moving the pawn around all the time. Because what happens is he'll save it on his, right? And then obviously the pawn's moved. Then I basically load up the latest version of it where he's moved the pawn. Okay? And if I've not got the right map loaded up, then obviously I'm going to load a map that hasn't got a player start on it. Right? Now the thing I could do is I could drop in the character, but either way it's a bit of a pain in the butt. And we're going to have to try and get round this issue somehow. Right, so what I'm going to do is say unlit. And go back to here. Okay. Now, I don't know where there's the boat. But that's not the right boats. That's different boats. So it's actually here. Right? So we're going to try build lighting again. For a laugh. And that's not awfully good. Okay, we have a major serious problem here. Okay. So we're going to go back. So I'm just letting my colleague know that it's not working. Okay, I might be able to drag this into a... I'm going to run the test map again. Right now, hopefully in here I'm going to find a house. Okay, so we don't seem to have now. I'm guessing Viking village. Viking village is just static meshes. Okay. So, Viking house, mesh, architecture. Okay. Right, well, apparently we don't have that either. We don't have a house, a basic house. Unless there's been a change to the pawn due to him changing it. Right? I am just wondering now if there's been a change to the pawn No, that's still there. Okay, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to have to get an answer to this, and I'm trying to talk to my colleague at the moment to see what the story is. But fundamentally, there's two things I want to check, right? Now, I can open. I should be able to open up the test map, right? Now, even if I can't do anything with it, that's fine as long as I can look at it, right? So basically, if I load this, now the question is, what do we have in here? Right, apparently we don't have anything that I'm wanting to look at. Okay, now there appears to be a player start. Okay. Now, if I look in here and I go to x3y0, this is going to give right now there should be houses or something, right? So if I view it as unlit, and let's say I go to here, right, I can look at these houses and it's just a mesh. Which means we have a problem. Now, being the temperature controller is all well and good, but we're gonna have to do something with inside, like. Okay, so right. No, this is not good. This is not good. Okay, well, whatever. What we're going to have to do is, these are just static meshes, right? So that ain't a good thing. Right? Because what I'm going to have to do is basically either A, put like a trigger outside, right, to say that you're outside, And then we're going to have to put one inside the door to say you're inside, right? But that isn't necessarily going to work, right? Because some of these don't have doors, right? Look at this one, this doesn't have a door, right? So the door isn't going to, I suppose that's the only way it's going to be able to work, right? But if you look at this, alright, I'm guessing we're going to have some sort of triggers or something, right? Yeah, we're going to have to do some sort of triggers. Right. Right. So basically, not good. Basically not good. But at least we've caught it early. Right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a blueprint. And we're going to create a blueprint. And we're basically going to say actor. Right? And we're going to call it BP indoor, outdoor trigger. Okay. And it's basically just going to have like a collision box. Right, so we're just going to create a box collision. Okay. And then in our event graph, we're going to turn that off. Then we're going to create a variable on it, which is going to be is turn on weather animations. Okay, and that's going to be instance editable. So we compile that, we get our box, and on begin overlap we're going to say has tag, and that's going to be player. Then we're going to branch it. Right, and we're going to go to our pawn, and we're going to do something similar to this, except we can do this in the function, because we can do this in a function to break it up a bit. So we can say set is indoors, right? And we might only need to do this for the animation instance, right? But so we'll just do this first. And this function is going to have an input, right? And it's going to be is in doors, and we're going to get that, and then we're going to have to set this value up. Okay, so we're going to have to browse to pawn, then we're going to have to go into the animation blueprint, okay, and then we're going to have to set a variable, and we're going to have to say is indoors, right, and that's going to be category conditions, and then we're going to have to add this, and we're going to have to say is indoors, and we're going to have to say false, so that's going to be not. Okay, so that's getting to be a bit of a pain in the neck. Okay, okay, right, so we've done that, we've added our is indoors, right? So we can save that. We can now go back to our pawn, and now we can say set is indoors. Okay, and then that's going to go in there. Okay, and we can now go to our indoor outdoor trigger. Okay, and on begin event, what we're going to do is actually I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just do it when they trigger it. So I'm going to say get player on. Then I'm going to cast it to pawn Groenland. Right, and then set indoors. And we're going to get that. That should be turned off. Right, so if okay. So what we should be able to do is basically place a couple of these, right? Wherever it is. Then we should be able to place another one. Right, so we'll go one behind the boat, one behind the thing. Right, so basically this one we turn off and the other one we don't. Okay, so if I press play, right, you'll notice that if I turn round, right, we're putting our arm up, right, but if we walk into this one, you'll notice that she stopped putting her hand up. Now if we walk over a bit, and I don't know where this is, we should probably have made it visible. Right, we'll escape that for now. So what we'll do is we'll go into here and we'll make this visible. And we shall pawn only, overlap only pawn, right? And then we'll set it to visible in the game. Right, so we're going to put our thing up, our arm up, right, and then when we collide with this, she puts her arm down. Okay, and then she puts her arm up again. Okay, and now we've got it switched off again. Okay, so maybe we should make this a bit more obvious. Right, by having them out in the middle of the ground somewhere. Right, so that we can see them a bit better. Now we can press play. We can try that again. Right, so basically what we'd do is we put this in a house so that then basically when they walk into the house it no longer affects them, right? And then when you walk outside the house, which I've just done, she puts her hand up again, so the effects start affecting her again, right? And that's the plan. So on that, guys, I'm going to call that a night. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content, and if you did, hit like, subscribe, and check out the description for links to my Discord, my Patreon, where you can support the channel and the game, and also my previous game on Steam, which you could add to your wish list, which would help in the Steam algorithm. Doesn't cost anything, 2 minutes, and that would help as well. So thanks again for watching. I'll catch you all tomorrow at 2 PM Central. Bye bye for now.